Hello everyone, welcome to this video, and in this video I'm going to be talking about the nuances of the deep web or the darknet, and basically what are the differences between the deep web and the clear web really. So basically on the deep web, I think the most important difference is the fact that the addresses on the deep web, the URLs on the deep web are in onion formats. Now I can basically show you that by going to the hidden wiki, the hidden wiki. Let me just search for that. You can do it too. And basically, the simple fact is that the URLs end with a .onion, a .onion extension. And I'm going to show you that right now. Like for example, duckduckgo.com is an example of a clear web website that ends in a .com, .net, or a .org. Those are basically simple. These are basically clear, an example of how URLs appear on the clear web. Now on the deep web or the darknet for that matter, the URLs will appear slightly differently. Let me just try and open the hidden wiki. It's taking quite a bit of time. Let me just check on this other site. Now while that is loading, I want to actually also tell you that when searching the darknet, especially the search engines like Google, Bing, and maybe a few others that you may be using, I don't know why you would not be using anything but Google, but Google will not work and will not index anything really important from that. It will not index anything from the darknet. It's only going to index all the stuff from the clear web. So basically in the next videos I'm actually going to be showing you some really good deep web or darknet search engines that will basically index all the websites on the darknet and give you some very good results. Now back to what I was explaining you guys about the extension or the URL extension. So here are examples of website URLs on the deep web. So you basically have the HTTP :/ and then the name of the website in a code format. So you'll not find a website with the name right there, but an idea, basically a combination of letters will be given that will make sense to the title of the website, but I'll get into that later. Now as you can see, it's a .onion, and if I just open this in a new tab right here, let's see whether some of these sites actually work. So basically site discontinued due to bad use. Alright, let's try and open something else. We can try the Torch search engine, which is not the best. I will be reviewing others. Alright, so basically this is an example of a good search engine, not the best, that can basically index websites on the darknet or the deep web. So let's basically search for let's see ebooks. Let's see what site it's going to return. So as you can see, it's going to return archive of ebooks, print ready. You have Marxist Internet Archive of ebook collection. You have some forum returns here. So overall a very good search engine, but it's not the best. I'll be getting into others soon. So yeah, that's basically it for this video, guys. This video is basically just explaining the nuances of the deep web and what's different from what you are expecting, you're expecting to find or on basic functionality. But that's it for this video. If you found this, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you have any questions, just let me know in the Q&A section of this video. Hello everyone, and welcome to this section. And in this section we are basically going to be looking at Tor and some of its security features and just going over the interface. So you could have installed Tor on Windows, or you could be using it on Cubes, or you could be using it on Tails, or finally you could be using it on any Linux distro of your choice. I'm going to be using Ubuntu, and basically if you already extracted the package as we did in the previous section of this course, you should have already started Tor, and here we are. Tor is actually opened, and I know that it's connected to the Tor network. Now let's actually get started. So Tor browser has a lot of security features that probably a lot of people overlook, but let's actually get into them. So if you maximize the Tor browser, it's going to tell you that the Tor browser can allow websites to determine your monitor size, which can be used to track you. So we recommend that you leave your Tor browser windows in their original default size. Well, that's actually a precaution that actually makes sense, because obviously if you visit a website, it has to basically form the website to the device that you're using, the resolution of the device that you're using, which you see very commonly nowadays. If you visit a website on your mobile device, it'll basically contort to the resolution of the mobile device. So basically, one of the first precautions you should take is basically making sure that you don't maximize your browser's resolution, and it just makes it a whole lot easier for them to understand what device you're using, and from there they can basically begin targeting you and all of that. Really, it's all got to do with security and anonymity. Now, most of you have already noticed that this really isn't a very normal browser, and as you can see, it's if you go to this little onion icon here, it's going to say Tor is enabled. Now if you click on it, it's going to say new identity, a new Tor circuit for this site, and it's going to say security settings and the Tor network settings. Now we basically want to hit new identity. All right, and what if we hit new identity, it's basically going to start a new Tor window. Now we can either do that or we can just start from here. So I'm going to hit no. Now let's try and visit a website like google.com, right? And let's see what it pops up. I already know that it's connected to the Tor network. All we have to see is what it basically replies. So according to what it's got from the Tor network, the IP that it's using is a Dutch IP from the Netherlands, and therefore it's changed it to all to Dutch. So in reality, I don't live in the Netherlands, so I can vouch that it's working. And if you click on the onion right now, it's basically going to show you the Tor circuit that's being used. So it's going to say this browser, and as we learned in the first section, how nodes work in the Tor connection, it's going to go to the first node. The first node is going to basically select the second node, and then it's going to select the third node, and then finally it's going to connect to the internet. So it's basically showing you the chain of node connections that your browser is taking to finally access the internet, which is why you'll find that sometimes that the connection is slightly slower. Again, you can create a new identity, and what that means is that it's going to give you a new IP address. All right, so we basically know that it's using a Dutch IP address. Let's try a website like sorry, I think I closed the window. Let's open Tor browser again, and let's just connect it to the Tor circuit. Sorry about that, I think I closed the window. So actually it probably has created a new identity for us. So let's open YouTube, youtube.com, and let's see what it gives us. So in theory, I don't know what IP address it's given me now, but let's see what it's given us. So basically it's still using I think the Dutch IP address, and possibly it's going to continue using that for right now. Anyway, what I was getting to was basically how it's basically structured the web page, and how you can customize the activity on the page. So as I was saying, you can get into security settings, and right now the security settings are set to low. That means it's basically going to work like a normal browser, and it's not going to restrict anything really. Let me just minimize this ad. Now if I hit medium, alright, at this level the following changes apply. Alright, JavaScript is disabled by default on non-HTTPS sites. So YouTube is a HTTPS site, so that means it's still going to be enabled. HTML5 video and audio media become click to play via no script, so they'll not autoplay any videos. So basically on sites where JavaScript is enabled, performance optimizations are disabled. So basically when it's at medium, it's going to restrict a bit of scripts running on the website. For example, if I clicked one of these videos right here, a lot of live stuff is playing. Let me just click a video that might not be too controversial in terms of content. Let's just go to trending, and let's see what the differences are in terms of how it's played. So let's try this video right here, and as you can see, it'll still play the video it'll still play the video quite well, and nothing really has changed. So if we go back into the security settings and we set it to high, let's hit OK, and not now, let's refuse that, and let's reload the web page and let's see what it gives us now. So it's nothing really has changed in terms of the interface. Everything is still smooth. So let's try and open a video right now, and as you can see, this little icon has turned into a no scripts sign, and most probably it's not going to play the video. And as you can see, it's not going to play the video at all. It's not giving us any thumbnails. So let's go back to the home screen and let me explain what the high security level actually means. So at this security level, the following changes apply. Mouse over for details. So basically, it's not going to give you any preview of the content. Like for example, if I click here, you can basically see that it doesn't. On sites where JavaScript is enabled, performance optimizations are disabled. So in reality, a lot of the scripts are disabled. So let's hit OK. And now if we look over here, it's going to say, this is basically your script area, and it's going to ask you to, it has this area for blocked script, and it's going to, as you can see, it's temporarily allowed the font to work, but it's disabled other scripts as well. Now you can temporarily allow the scripts on this page if you know you're on a website that you can trust. However, it's gonna advise you that allowing the scripts globally or universally across the Tor browser is very dangerous. And that's because some websites may use JavaScript, and you know JavaScript uses your computer to perform advanced tasks on the websites like calculations, and those can be really dangerous, especially when harvesting information from your browser and your computer. So that's basically the security features. You then have your Tor network settings. Alright, so these are very simple, and it's basically the first settings that you get when installing the Tor browser. You can basically check that whether or not your internet service provider blocks connections to the Tor network in countries where that may be restricted, whether you have a proxy or you're going through a firewall. So that's really up to you. Coming back to let me just go back to YouTube, sorry about that. Coming back to the new Tor, if you focus on the Tor circuit for this site, as I said, it's going to show you a visual representation according to the chain of nodes being used. Now if you go into the security settings, and if we were to basically say medium and or low, what would be really dangerous is if I used a search engine. By the way, the Tor browser automatically uses the DuckDuckGo search engine, which is an anonymous search engine. So basically, as you can see, the default search engine is DuckDuckGo. So let me just search for the hidden wiki, which is basically a wiki that contains a collection of a few onion sites. So generally speaking, the first thing you'll realize is that the deep web or the dark net, we're actually not yet browsing the dark net, is relatively slower because it's going through a certain amount of proxies. So the hidden wiki, as I said, it's going to be using the DuckDuckGo search engine. The DuckDuckGo search engine is, I think, the best search engine because it's anonymous and does not track any of your search queries. So let's open the hidden wiki. And let's try and actually visit a deep web site right now, or a darknet site. So basically, this is just a collection of .onion websites, which is the URL format for the deep web. For most of you don't know, it does not end in .com or .org, .net. Really, in terms of the deep web or the darknet, all websites end in a .onion format. So if I was to just find a website on the hidden wiki, you can try this for yourselves. Most of the websites will not work, but if you can find one that works, it'll be a good starting point for you to understand how this works. So I'm basically going to try and click on a link that may not be that may be working. For example, this market website that may be dealing in firearms. you have a lot of illegal content right here, which again, as I mentioned in my disclaimer, I'm not going to be responsible for if you get involved into this. But anyway, let me try and find links that are working. As I said, one of the most common problems you'll be encountering on the deep web is the fact that links don't actually work, and some of them will be dead. So the real challenge or the adventure is finding links that are working. So let's actually try and find a website that's working, so that we can I can basically show you how it works before we end this video. No site wants to work today. Let's try the Twitter clone. Excuse me. None of those sites want to work. Let's try a hacking website right here. It also contains a few torrent websites, which, by the way, another tip is I would not recommend you to basically torrent over the deep web, because that will basically just give out your location. I will get to advanced anonymity settings and configuring, basically giving you full anonymity where it cannot be traced back to you, but that's coming in the future videos. So we've actually got our first deep web website, and as you can see, this is an ebook website called the Imperial Library, and it's saying there are 103,448 books on the library. So you can basically just check this out. And let's check out science fiction, for example. You have Star Trek. You can download it or read it. Again, this may be illegal, and I don't encourage you to do that, but at the end of the day, you can use this information to do whatever you want. So that's basically it for this video, guys. Thank you so much for watching. If you have any questions, just let me know in the Q&A section of the course. Hello everyone and welcome to this video. In this video, we're going to get started with the hidden wiki. Alright, so you might be asking yourself, what exactly is the hidden wiki? Alright, so the hidden wiki is essentially the Tor version of Wikipedia, and you can use it to find services or sites that you're interested in. Alright, so essentially the site lists all the hidden onion sites, and essentially will list all of them and will sort all of them depending on the type of service or the type of sites they are. So for example, you have introduction points, you have editors picks, financial services, you have your hosting links, etc, etc. All right, so it's a fantastic starting point for you, and you might be asking yourself, what exactly is the link? Well, I'll be posting the link in the resources section, so you can check that out after this video. And furthermore, you can also just search for the hidden wiki through the DuckDuckGo search engine. All right, that being said, let's have a quick overview of the hidden wiki and how and why it's so helpful. Alright, so by default, it is a very, very well designed website, as you can see here. Again, its main purpose is to sort and to display all the hidden services or the hidden links on the deep web or on the dark web for that matter. Alright, so as you can see, you have your editor's picks, where you have some fantastic websites that I would recommend that you get started with reading. For example, the Matrix. I'm pretty sure you already know what that is about. How to exit the Matrix. That involves learning how to protect yourself and your rights online and off. And then finally, you have a very good read here regarding to PGP signatures. All right, so a short and simple how-to guide, excellent read there. So I'd really recommend that. All right, so as you can see, you then have your introduction points, where we have the Amaya search engine, the DuckDuckGo search engine, Bitcoin fog. So again, that is to deal with Bitcoin anonymization taken seriously. Now, you will be given notices depending on whether or not the site is currently up and running. And as you can see, the Bitcoin fog is currently down as of 2017 and 18. All right. You then have your Tor links, which is essentially Tor links that are moderated for replacement for the hidden wiki. So these are an extra repository of links. You have the Tor search engine, right? You then have your hidden wiki, which is essentially a mirror of the hidden wiki. You have the not evil search engine, and finally the self-defense surveillance guide. So these are all fantastic introduction points. And the reason I'm showing you how to use the hidden wiki is because it really is a great place to get started with understanding, the types of sites that actually exist, and actually understanding that, the deep web, or the dark web for that matter, is really a very robust environment, in the sense that you have all types of sites with providing different services. So again, you can look at the financial services, so you can find the different sites. Now again, I do need to throw out caution that some of these are not going to be legal, or of course, because they involve counterfeiting, etc., etc. But again, I'm not going to demonstrate any of that. The purpose of this video is to show you all the sections in which you can get started from. You then have your commercial services that involve, different stuff like betting sites, iCloud unlock, driver's licenses, etc., etc. Again, I'm not going to go into all of that because there is quite a bit to look at. As for the domain services, you have some fantastic domain name searches you can perform here, where you can essentially you can buy domain names, or the ones that you feel are appropriate for your site, if you choose to create and host a deep website. As for the anonymity and security, you have it sorted out into mixing services, anonymity, security, privacy, so you can go ahead and look at that. Again, for your hosting web file or images, you have your hosting links, which is currently 1. I would recommend that you check that out if you're interested in that. You have your email messaging, so we looked at Proton Mail and a few others, and as you can see, there are plenty more that you can look at and you can use, and you can find what works the best for you. You then have your social networks. So you have Galaxy 2, Facebook, which is the essentially the real Facebook's onion domain. So essentially, it's Facebook's way of saying, what, we are also here on the deep web. And again, as you can see, there's a small amount of information here saying claims not to keep logs. Trust them at your own peril. All right. So essentially, what's happening here is Facebook has their own dark web Facebook link. And essentially they claim not to keep any logs of your activity. And there's a small disclaimer telling us to trust Facebook at our own peril. Right? So make sure you really understand what that means. As for, you have Moneybook, a dark web, Facebook for money, there's a lot of stuff on the deep web or the dark web. And finally, you have your forums, your WikiLeaks, which is quite interesting as well. You can go ahead and check that out. So I can just open that up in the next link. So we'll let that load while we look at this. You then have your hack freak, anarchy, wares, viruses, cracks, all of that good stuff, videos and movies, and so on and so forth. Now, I'm not going to continue all the way down because the content or the sites that are listed are, of explicit nature, or of nature that is not suitable for me to show you. But irregardless of that, the hidden wiki is a fantastic starting point that can really point you in the direction that you want to go, whatever that direction is. Again, I'm going to pass out some caution that you please navigate the sites that you want to visit with caution. And again, do not click any random site that you do not know, you don't know what it contains or does not have a title. That's why I would recommend for all the beginners that you start off with the hidden wiki, because all the sites are verified and it gives you a description of what the site is. So the site is genuine and does what it says. All right. So, clicking on links, on onion links that you're not sure of is it's really not a good way of exploring it unless you know what you're doing exactly. All right, so as you can see, we have WikiLeaks here and WikiLeaks submission upload. So you can actually submit, some information here that you want leaked, but we're not going to be doing that today. Anyway, that's going to be it for this video. I just wanted to introduce you to the hidden wiki. The link will be in the resources section, or you can go ahead and use a search engine like DuckDuckGo that works both on the clear net and the dark net. All right, so that's going to be it for this video, and I'll be seeing you in the next video. Hey guys, welcome to this video, and in this video I have a very, very fun and exciting video for you guys. Basically, we're going to be looking at the best deep webs or darknet search engines out there. So basically, I've got about 4 that I think are the best search engines that you can get. One of them that you might want to include is DuckDuckGo, but it's not the best for the deep web or the darknet. Now, the first one I'm going to start with is Amia or AHMIA. I don't know how you can pronounce it, but basically this is my personal favorite because of how many results it turns up. So let's say I want to search about let's say a conspiracy theory. So let me just type a conspiracy theory. Let's just search a very simple generic, and as you can see, it's going to give the thing I like is it's very well designed. It basically has a very clean user interface. It displays the results in 0.05 seconds. All right, it has statistics. You can basically use an I2P search, which you really don't need to know what it is right now. It basically then indexes them according to their relevancy and whether or not they are online, and basically how old they are. As you know, and as I've mentioned in previous videos, basically sites on the deep web will usually find sites that most of the sites will not work and are not active. And if you the real challenge is finding sites that are active. So let's try the first one and let's see what we can get out of this one, just to show that the results are indeed active and the sites that you'll find through this search engine are the best. So basically we have the sports conspiracy, brainwashed from birth by Dr. Marcus Driver. Well, there's some pretty interesting stuff here. Nothing is so permeating in American culture as sports. We're exposed to competition based on physical struggles for dominance, aka athletics. Well, I'm really not going to go into any of this. But basically, this has been Amaya or Amia, whatever you want to call it, and this is a very good search engine that I would recommend. I would really highly recommend this search engine. The second one on my list is Candle. Now, Candle is a very minimalistic search engine. As you can see, it's basically got inspiration from Google, and that's why it's using the Google color scheme. And it basically has a tagline saying no parentheses, no Boolean operators, no quotes, just words. So it's basically telling you to just search for whatever you want to get. So let's try and search for let's try again and search for conspiracy theory, and let's see what it returns. All right, so you can see it's basically giving different results. As you can see on this one, we got different results, and on Candle we got different results. So as you can see, there are some differences, and it's going to basically show results. It's showing 20 out of 69 of 97 of 204. So basically it's indexed in pages. Now, talking about the way it displays it, it has a black theme, so that's very nice and easy on the eyes. It also gives a description. It gives a nice description, and basically has an index as to when the site was up. So this is very nice because it actually gives the latest sites as compared to Amaya. That sorts by relevance, but Candle will sort by time that it was updated or activated. So let's click on this and let's see what we get, and hopefully this link is still up, or it has had some downtime. All right, so it's basically forwarded us to Intel Exchange, where we have some conspiracy theory forum right here. Intel Exchange, by the way, is a very popular forum on the deep web. I will make a separate video on Intel Exchange because it's a really good forum for you to basically express how you feel, really. But that's basically Candle. So Candle is very good search engine. And by the way, this all comes down to personal preference, really. Everything is up to you and whatever you deem comfortable for yourself. The third one is Not Evil. Basically, Not Evil is a very simplistic search engine that basically gives you the ability to index whatever you're searching in terms of titles, URLs, or you can use both. All right, so you can basically search for keywords. So I'm going to basically search for conspiracy theory. I'm just going to be using this just to show the differences between the three and other search engines that we're going to get to in a few moments. So I'm going to make sure it's using titles, and I'm going to search, and let's see what results it turns up for us. All right, so as you can see, there's some stuff that's kind of different here, and you'll find something. Maybe we have something here in Russian, and basically it doesn't, in my opinion, it doesn't sort everything in a very neat way or an intuitive way that people are accustomed to, especially when it comes to search engines. That would probably be the only thing down about this search engine. It's called Not Evil. So let's actually try and open this link right here and let's see what it gives us. It's in Russian, so I'm guessing it's going to be in Russian. It's opening an Onion site. It does give a last response date. That means when it was last pinged active. Let's see what it gives us here. It's taking quite a while to load. Probably a big page. Alright, so yeah, as I said, this is a Russian website, and it looks like it's a download website for, I think, a film or something. So really nothing. As you can see, they give varied results, and again, it all comes down to what search engine will give you what you want. So that's basically it for Not Evil. By the way, the links will be attached to a resource folder in this section, so you can basically check these links and see them for yourselves. Now going on to the fourth search engine is Grams. Now Grams is basically a search engine that will allow you to search the dark web markets. Now the next video is probably going to be about the dark web or the deep web markets, and this will basically allow you to index all of them. So let's try and see maybe something what you would expect to be sold on the dark web markets. For example, let's try a very popular one, cannabis. Let's search for Gram search. By the way, talking about the interface, it is again it has inspiration from Google, and it has a very nice logo here, as you can see, basically giving you an idea of what it's all about. Really, it's about basically the markets that deal with narcotics and stuff like that. Again, I don't encourage any of this or condone any of this, but again, it's up to you, really, whatever you want to do. But anyway, let's basically give that a search and let's see what it returns us. Alright, so it's returned an advanced search and it gives you the amount of time it took to search. It has some very cool statistics here that I'll get to in a second. So basically, it's going to highlight these two search results, which I'm guessing are sponsored, and it'll give you the vendor, the price in terms of Bitcoin, and the location in which this company or vendor is located. So 25 bottles of Canazine. I'm really not going to click on any of these links because that's not the focus of this video, but you basically get the idea. Alright, so Grams is basically a dark web market search engine, and you basically get the idea. You can search for anything on the dark web markets. Pretty cool. The last search engine in this video is going to be Torch, and we basically took a very brief look at Torch in the previous video. Torch is as simple as it gets. Alright, so basically it has these weird links over here, the Tor warehouse, and basically they basically look like advertisements here. So it's going to say hacking services, and really if you want to click on these links, it's up to you, really. So again, let's search for conspiracy theory. Alright, let's give that a search, and it's returned a conspiracy theory right here called the chemtrail conspiracy theory. I don't know whether you guys are fans of conspiracy theories, but this is a very popular one. Most probably it's going to be from, alright, so there we are. As you can see, this is what I'm talking about, search engine, and this is why I really don't like Torch, because even though it has a good, fairly good user interface, you can basically sort it by the last modified date, which we can actually try right now and see if the results that it gives us are good in any way. And as you can see, we clicked on this link and it told us that it does not exist. So again, it's all about whether or not a search engine can give you what you're looking for. In my opinion, Armia is the best search engine, and I would recommend it to you. Again, the links will be in the resources folder attached to this section. So that's basically it for this video, guys. I hope you guys found value in this video. If you have any questions, just let me know in the Q&A section of the course. Thanks so much for watching. Hello everyone, and welcome back to the course. And in this video, I'm going to be showing you the best email providers on the deep web or the dark net. as it's so called. So there are about 4 email providers that I think will perform exceptionally well for really any purpose you have in mind. And basically, you might be asking yourself, why do I need an email address on the darknet or the deep web? Well, the question is, why not? Why shouldn't you have one? First of all, it's amazing for communication because it's going to be anonymous, and there's literally no tracking whatsoever. There's no Google Analytics tracking, basically tracking how many emails you send a day, or nor is there basically file scanning on basically attached files that you could be scanning. But those are just some of the advantages of using an email on the deep web or the dark net. So let's actually get started. By the way, the links will be in the resources folder for each of these videos that actually contain links. So basically the first one is called Proton Mail. Now Proton Mail is also on the clear web, but it does exceptionally well on the deep web or the darknet as well. So here it is, and you can basically just log in or create an account. Now you might be asking yourself, why should I select Proton Mail? Well, basically, as you can already see, it's gone to the clear web sign up, and if we basically just temporarily allow scripts on this site, it should this is already on the clear web, so there's really no risk. You can select your account type. Some of its packages do need a payment. Now there's the free version, which is a basic account with limited features. The secure email with advanced features basically has these advantages right here, up to 1,000 messages a day. And you might be asking yourself, well, why can't I just use normal email for my communication? Well, that's also good. That's a good argument, but with Proton Mail, as it says, Proton Mail is a free service for the public good. You can support online privacy by selecting a paid account. Your contribution helps us basically develop Proton Mail as a free and open source software. So basically the packages, the payment packages are just to support them in development. Now you might be asking yourself, what security do they use? And they use end-to-end encryption. So that basically on its own is the best, and you can go through all of this. Really, you can basically have a look at how it works and why they basically why you should sign up with them. But that's basically it for Proton Mail. I won't get into too deep into that. Again, it's all about personal preference. You can basically make your decision out of Proton Mail and the others that we're going to be looking at. The second one is Tor-box, the Tor mailbox. Now this is more in line with what I would use, and basically if we go to the welcome menu, it's going to say welcome to Tor-box. This is a hidden mailbox service only accessible from Tor. So there's no clear web version. There is no connection between Tor-box and the public internet. All messages are sent and received with Tor-box. Alright, so just sign up for a new Tor-box and start sending and receiving email within Tor. Alright, pretty cool. So you can basically just sign up for an account right here, and it is free. So you can basically enter your nickname, your email address, name, password and captcha, and basically add your mailbox. Might be asking yourself, why is this so cool? Well, for me, I've used a Tor-box before. I just love its simplicity. It's really easy to create. It's an account, and it's the mailbox is very simple. You can give people your email address over the deep web, and you can communicate with them. And I might be asking yourself, what type of security do they use? Well, basically, this is the standard email system. Communications between you and the server to MTA transport are encrypted as they are established within the Tor network. So basically, your messages are already encrypted because they are traveling through the Tor relay. Basically, what it offers you is a mailbox and an email address and webmail access through Squirrel Mail. So pretty good package, and it's free, absolutely free. So this is one of my personal favorites. I would actually recommend this for beginners. The next one is BitMessage. Now BitMessage has been there for quite a while now, and very simple website. I think this is done in basic HTML. You can basically register, you can set up FAQ, frequently asked questions, and basically what BitMessage is a gateway that will basically to connect BitMessage with an email without the need of any software. So it allows you the BitMessage network the same way you use email today. So it's completely free. no advertisements anywhere, no tracking. So all of these really good features. In terms of registration, you have your setup guide right here, which we will look at briefly. So basically this website uses JavaScript to protect email addresses. If you read this text, you have JavaScript disabled. In this case, replace all hashes with a document, blah blah blah. So this is really just an advanced bit message email client, really advanced. It's a very good service, but I would not recommend this for beginners. And really this is something you would get into when you're moving into, like, when you're using many email addresses. For example, you create a website on the deep web and you want to use many email addresses. This is the service you would use because it's more of a mail gateway. Now the last one, which is also a very good one, is Mail to Tor. Alright, now Mail to Tor has a very good website. So it's an anonymous email service provider. It's a free anonymous email service to protect your privacy. Alright, so it allows anyone to send and receive mail anonymously via webmail or email client. You will need to have the Tor browser installed on your computer to access Mail to Tor. So it only works on the deep web or the dark net. Now it's a very simple website, and you basically just go about it by registering for an account. It's a bit of a slow website, but it's very good service nonetheless. So again, very simple registration, username, password, confirm your password. It has a captcha, and you can submit your query. You can then log in and then access your mailbox and send and receive email addresses, emails really, not email addresses. So that's basically it for this video, guys. These are basically I think the best email providers on the deep web right now, and hopefully you can find one that you like and one that you will hopefully be using for a long time to come. Anyway guys, thank you so much for watching this video. Just to remind you, the links are going to be in the resources folder if you want to access any of these links. Anyway, if you have any questions, just let me know in the Q&A section of the course. Thank you so much for watching. Hello everyone, and today we're going to be basically looking at I think, in my opinion, the best social networks and forums on the deep web, or the dark net as it's so called. So I have here a list of some of these sites that I think are the best, and by the way, the links to these websites or these onion sites will be in the resources folder under this lecture. So feel free to check them out. The first one is Galaxy 2, and I think, in my opinion, the best basically forum / social network on the dark net or the deep web. And basically you have you basically have an activity section. You can log in or create an account. As you can see over here, you can register, create an account. Overall, it's a very clean social network, in the sense that it doesn't contain any malicious or really disturbing content. You then have the latest activity. You have the wire, and this basically, as you can see right here, you have basically wire posts, which are just like status updates or questions that people would ask. You then have groups. All right, so you can form a group once you log in, and as you can see, basically right over here, as you can basically see, you have different groups that are discussing different things, and that's basically that. You then have let me just open these, let me just reload the page. You then have blogs, you have rules, you have frequently asked questions. So really it has a lot of people on it, and it's a really good social network / forum. So please do check it out. The next one is going to be Chat-Tor. Now Chat-Tor is basically a chat room, and the reason I've included it is because you're absolutely anonymous, and all you have to do is just enter a random name. So I'm just gonna enter mine as Peter Griffin, and I'm gonna just join the lobby, and it's gonna basically open a lobby up, and you can basically start chatting whatever you want with these random people. So overall, pretty cool. The next one we're going to look at is Facebook. Believe it or not, Facebook actually has their own Onion website, .onion website, and they basically claim that they don't log your activity when you use it when you use it on the Tor network. I wouldn't go by their word, because they don't have it in their terms of use, because they really haven't. It really isn't supported all that much when it comes to the deep web. So yeah, if you want to check it out, go ahead. Again, just run this at your own risk. Alright, and the last one is the Intel Exchange, which I did promise that I would give you guys basically an overview of in the previous video. And Intel Exchange is basically a forum where you can discuss different types of stuff, and I really enjoy this. You can create an account and you can log in, and the reason I like it is because it has a very good, it's basically organized very well. It's very simple. For example, you have sections like suppressed technology, and with suppressed technology you can basically check out stuff like free energy, the 0 Point or anti-gravity documentary, really interesting stuff that deals with science and technology. So overall, pretty awesome. So that's basically it for this video, guys.
Hello everyone, welcome to this video. In this video we're going to get started with chat rooms on the deep web or the darknet. Alright, so by default I have 2 chat rooms here, and you might be asking yourself, well, aren't there any more chat rooms on the deep web or the darknet? And the truth is there are a lot of them, and the reason why I'm showing you only 2 is because these are the ones that I can recommend to you, or I can trust that will not cause or will not leak any of your information, or whose purpose is not for any malicious intent. Now let me explain something. The thing with the deep web or the darknet is that it's huge, and the amount of sites is very large. And if through browsing or using search engines you could find other chat rooms, but the truth about them is you really can't tell what their main goal is, apart from obviously providing a chat room service. That is why I'm going to be showing you some of the most popular ones and some of the ones that I can verify as legitimate and whose purpose is only to help you chat. Alright, so by default these 2 are CryptoDog and Daniel's chat. Now I'll be posting the links, the onion links for these chat rooms in the resources section after this video, so you can check them out for yourself. Alright, and I just want to throw out a bit of caution. When browsing the deep web, do not, this is my honest opinion, do not trust any site until you can fully verify it, or a site, you do not go to any random site and fully trust it, and I hope you know what I mean by that. Alright, but that being said, let's get started. So the first site that we're going to be looking at is CryptoDog. Alright, so CryptoDog is really weird. You might be a bit confused as to why it's called CryptoDog, but don't worry about what it means. It's essentially just a name for a chat room. Alright, and by default, you will need to enable chat room, and that is because it requires JavaScript for encryption. Alright, so for encryption of your messages, so that your messages are obviously safe, and it actually gives you a bit of privacy. Now to do that, you just go to your right hand side and to the JavaScript plugin. Now it might be on the left here with the onion circuits, or you can just go to the right and you can just temporarily enable JavaScript. Now by default in the security section of the course, we will be looking at some of the security features that you can enable and disable, that security features that you can enable and disable that will really help your security. Alright, so by default, welcome to CryptoDog. Now it's going to prompt you here to enter your conversation name. I'll explain what that is in a second, and you can just enter your nickname. Alright, now let's look at some of the information that is going to be provided here. Alright, so as you can see, it's going to say welcome to CryptoDog. Here are some useful tips. Want to meet new people? Try connecting to the room lobby. So I'll show you how to connect to the lobby. It'll then tell you here that CryptoDog is not a magic bullet. You should never trust any piece of software with your life. So again, do not trust anything here. It's just a simple disclaimer saying that, we are not going to be held accountable for any damage that's caused to you. Not that it isn't secure, it just is a bit of a disclaimer. Alright, so then it's going to tell you that CryptoDog can protect you against untrustworthy people or keyloggers. So again, it's throwing a little disclaimer that do not trust any people that you meet in the chat room, because everything is encrypted and your identity is protected. You really don't know who you're talking to. But again, a chat room is very useful if you want to chat with your friends or your business associates. Alright, so how would you go about setting up a chat room with CryptoDog? Well, to do that, you need to set up your conversation name. Now, this has to be very, very unique. And as you can see, enter a name for your conversation and share it with people you'd like to talk to. Alright, or you can join the lobby to meet new people. Now, by default, this is going to be your chat room name, and it has to be unique if you want security and you want to prevent other people from joining into it. So you'll essentially share your conversation name with only the people you want to join your chat room. So I can say something like test chat room. Again, you can change yours to be as complex as you want it. You can use a combination of alphanumeric characters. So as you can see, I'll just use a simple one and I'll just call it test chat room. Alright, so test chat room, and now you enter your username or your nickname, which again will protect your identity. So you can enter something random like user 7689 or something really different and long, and just hit connect. Alright, now it's going to start the connecting process, and it's hopefully going to start encrypting your connection. So give that a few seconds, and by default that is what it requires JavaScript for. It's not going to require it for any type of location tracking, even though that is quite impossible considering that you're using the Tor relay for communication. Alright, so give this a few seconds. It shouldn't take too much time at all, and once you're done, essentially you can just share the conversation name with the people you want to communicate with. Alright, there we are. So welcome to your chat room, and as you can see, by default I'm the only one in the chat room, and I can start sending messages and wait for other people to join in. And as you can see, this is my username, and this is the chat room name, which is called test chat room. On the right here you have your light mode, which changes it to light. You have your status, which is essentially going to tell the people also in your chat room whether you're available or you're away. Alright, so currently I've set it back to available, and you can look at your information here. And this is some information about the encrypted keys. So you can just look at that. As for the desktop notifications, which is really great, you can turn on desktop notifications if that is something you're interested in. You can also turn on audio notifications, which I really don't like, so I'll keep that off. And you can finally log out. And to send a message, you just go to the message bar here and say something like hello. Welcome. You can just send a simple message, hello, welcome, and just send that, and there you go. Alright, so now by default, if you have sent the conversation name to the people you want to join, all they have to do is enter this conversation name and select a username and just hit join, and they will join you. Alright, so that is how to create your own chat room. So now I'm going to log out here, and essentially what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how to join the lobby. So the conversation name for the lobby is very simple. It is just lobby. Now in the lobby, this is where you can meet, as you can see, you can meet new people, and this is just a place where people can connect with each other. Alright, so random people, again with the identities protected. So I'm just going to hit connect. Alright, and it's going to connect to the lobby. Give it a few seconds again. It's going to start encrypting your connection. Give that a few seconds, and it should connect directly to the lobby, and that is where you will find different type of people. Again, I'm just throwing it out. I'm just throwing out a disclaimer: do not trust anyone you meet in the chat room, and do not take them. You really can't trust anyone you meet. So by default, you can see you all have your users here, and they're the users that are currently online, and you can chat with them and just just find out more about them. But again, a lobby is a place for meeting new people. Alright, so that is essentially CryptoDog, and once you're done, you can just log out, and voila, that is how to use CryptoDog. I really enjoy using CryptoDog, and I have used it for professional communication many times with business associates, and it really does protect your communication. Alright, now moving on to the second chat room, which is Daniel's chat. Alright, so Daniel's chat is really awesome as well. And as you can see, there are some rules here. You can go through them. I'm not going to go through them because they may contain explicit content that I'm not going to go into. But by default, you can select your username. So I'm just going to hit a random username like user 8976, and I'm just going to select a password, which I can choose depending on how complex I want it to be. Since I'm only using this account one time, I'm just going to hit 1 2 3 4 5. And I'm just going to enter this captcha, which is essentially asking us for the purpose of verification. So the captcha is EEZDH. Alright, and once I've done that, it's going to ask me to select a color. And I'm just going to select a random color like sky blue and enter the chat. Alright, so once I hit enter the chat, essentially what's going to happen, just just let it load, and I'll for some reason the captcha is already used or timed out, so yes, I had to reload the page. So let me just create a new user really quickly. 8976, password 12345, and I'm just going to copy the captcha, BSDV7, and I'm going to select a color. Let's see, do we have red? I like red. If I can just find it there. I found it just there it is, and I'm going to hit enter chat. All right, and there you are. Welcome user, your login has been delayed. You can access the chat in 120 seconds. So again, it's going to ask you, it's going to delay your login for 120 seconds in a form of a waiting room. So this is just a way of it, it's just a way of it verifying that you are indeed an actual person on the Tor relay, not a bot or a computer. Alright, so by default, it's just going to keep on refreshing every 10 seconds until your time is up, and once it's done, it'll essentially enter you into the chat room. Now by default, I'm just going to let this complete, and I'll get back to you when this is done. Alright, so I'm left with the last 5 seconds of the waiting room, and there we are. It's taken us to Daniel's chat, and by default, there we are. Just give it a few seconds to load up. And as you can see, it's going to give you a small disclaimer as well, with it saying chat about anything while respecting the rules. So if you've gone through the rules, you know about what to post and what not to post. All right. As you can see, these are the members that are currently online, and for me, I'm a guest because again, it is sorted out in forms of guests, so you can register for an account if you want to do that. By default, it's only me and QWERTY, and as for the members, you can see their names there. Let's look at an overview here. So essentially I can just send a message here, so I can type in my message and I can send it to all chatters, or to the offline chatters, or to specific users in the chat room. All right, and I can also attach files. Now looking at the messages that have been sent here, you can see that there is some communication, and it's really very simple communication, but it's a great way of communicating with people because you can directly communicate with them, and if they are also in the chat room, you can just send them a direct message and upload your files and send them, and you can also switch to a multi-line, which allows you to send multi-line messages. Alright, that being said, it's a really very simple chat room, but again with a lot of functionality here, and again, it's a great way of communicating with people and also discovering new people if that's what you're looking for. Alright, so those are two of my favorite and most trustworthy chat rooms. Now when I say that, I'm going to throw out caution that I am not guaranteeing that they're going to be that they're going to be safe, but for the most part I've used them for a long time, and I can assure you that they are some of the best ones. Now by default, you can also find your own and use them, and the process is relatively simple. Their main purpose is for protecting your identity and anonymity, and furthermore encryption of your messages. Alright, that being said, that is going to be it for this video, and I'll be seeing you in the next video. Hello everyone and welcome to this video. In this video we're going to get started with deep web or the darknet markets. Alright, so for those of you who are a bit confused as to what deep web or darknet markets are, they essentially allow users to come together and obviously to sell digital products or actual physical products anonymously, and obviously with the whole idea of protecting your identity. Now most of these sales or the crypto or the currency used on most of these markets are cryptocurrencies, in the sense that you have Bitcoin, Litecoin, Monero or Ethereum, but most popularly you will find the use of Bitcoin and Monero on most of these markets. Alright, so payments have to be made with Bitcoin or Monero, or if the site supports it, Litecoin. Alright, and in the Bitcoin and cryptocurrency section of the course, you can look at how to buy these cryptocurrencies and how to store them in your wallet, and furthermore how to access them and how to use those and how to use the cryptocurrency. That being said, let's get started with our deep web markets. Now by default, I've selected 3 of the best deep web markets that are out there, dependent on their reviews and their security. Now when I say reviews and security, these are probably rated 5 out of 5 with the best security out there, and I'll be taking you through them very simply, and I'll be giving you an overview of how they work. That being said, I'll be posting the links in the resources section after the video, so you can check them out for yourself. Okay, so getting started with the first market, which is the Wall Street market. This is a great market that you can get started with, and you can sign up for free, and you can also log in if you have an account, but I'm guessing you don't have an account. So what I'm going to do is just show you how to register, which is it's really very simple. All you need to do here is you need to just select your username and your password. Sorry, you can go into sign up for free here. Let me just show you how to register. So you can enter your username, your password, and it'll ask you to enter a captcha. Now I already have an account, so I'm just going to log in really quickly. I just created an account so that I do not have to take you through the process, because again, the process of entering captchas is really long and tedious. Alright, so I'm going to enter my username. My username is user3456. Again, I just created a random account that I'm not really going to be using for any transactions. So I'm just going to log in now. I'm just going to enter the captcha 9ZM PX like so. And yeah, that's it. And I'm going to hit login. Alright, so I'm just going to log in, and hopefully it logs me in with the captcha being right. There we are. So it successfully logged me in. Now one more thing is I'm going to be blurring the content on the right here. That's because I do not want to give any publicity to any of the items or products being sold here. Most likely because they will infringe on copyright, and again, I'm not supposed to be showing you things that might incite you to purchase illegal items. So it's all to do with the illegalities and legalities. And if you want to experiment for yourself, you can go ahead and try it. You can go ahead and try the site yourself. Alright, so by default, you have on your top here your home, your user control panel, the support. You can also create referral links and refer your friends to the site if that's what you want to do. And you also have your quality control page, and finally your logout button here that allows you to log out. Pretty self-explanatory. On your right you have your featured listings. You have on your left here you have the items sorted depending on what they are. So you have software and malware, for example. That's just an example there. You have guides and tutorials, those being probably the most on the fringe of legality. You then have your top vendors. You have your rising vendors, and at the bottom here you have your two cryptocurrencies that are supported on the site, which in this case are Bitcoin and Monero, and you have their United States and Euro transfer, the actual amounts. All right, their exchange rate. Sorry about that. Alright, so that is essentially the Wall Street market. Now I'm not going to be covering everything because it is pretty self-explanatory. It's essentially just like using any market on the clear web. It's like using a site like eBay, apart from the fact that the products are going to be of slightly different nature. Okay, so that was the Wall Street market. Now let's move on to my second and my most favorite, which is the Empire market, because of its security features and protocols. So if you want to register, you just need to go into the register page here and just give that a few seconds to load up. I have noticed one thing with the Empire market is that sometimes it may take a while to load up, but the site is almost always up. Alright, so as you can see, registration on the Empire market. You're making the right choice by registering on the Empire market. Choose your username, password, and you will be set to start trading on our marketplace using a secure escrow system. Alright, so the great thing about this is it asks you to enter a PIN and a login phrase if you choose to do so. You can also, after you've created the account and you've logged in, you can also enable two-factor authentication, and you can also change your PIN and add a PGP public key here. Alright, that being said, let's look at the registration. You just need to enter your username, your password, you confirm your password, you enter your 6-digit PIN, which you must remember. You can skip your login phrase and your user. You can choose to invite a user if you have the username. And finally, you select your currency, which in this case, on most cases, will be United States dollars. You also have your Great British pounds. You have your Australian dollars, euros, and Canadian dollars. You then have your cryptocurrency defaults, which in this case, it supports 3 cryptocurrencies. You have Bitcoin, Litecoin, and Monero. Now, depending on the seller of a product or a buyer, in this case, they will tell you the cryptocurrencies that they support, and you can furthermore make payments depending on the cryptocurrencies that they support. Okay, so all you need to do is just log in. Alright, so just log in. I already have an account. You can just create yours. So I'm just going to log in, and my user for this site was user345. My password was 12345678. again, you can go ahead and I'll probably delete the account before telling you this, obviously, but the account has nothing on it regardless. I just created them really quickly to show you how these markets work. All right, so I'm going to enter the captcha and I'm going to log in like so. There we are. And just give that a few seconds, and there we are. So again, I'm going to be censoring or blurring this right area here depending on the listings, again sorted up in terms of the featured listings. And on the left hand side you have your account information, so you have the date you joined, the trust level, the total amount of sales in US dollars, and your total orders in US dollars. So the great thing about the Empire Market is it has a very good a way of setting up you as a seller. So if you want to become a seller, I would really recommend this site for you. Okay, so in terms of categories, they sorted out into all of these categories that you can go ahead and look at. As for the search options, you have your search terms, the product type, the price range, from what country, what country it ships to, the order by date, actually not the order, yes, the order by date. You have your in-stock options and the vendor trust level, which is very important. You then have your exchange rates here for Bitcoin, Litecoin, and Monero, which is excellent as well. At the bottom of the web page, you have your account security, where you can add your PGP key, your public PGP key, and finally you can enable your two-factor authentication. Okay, so again, it's all up to you depending on what you want to do. You can also, depending on the purchases that you want to make, and again, I'm not going to be encouraging you to use this. Now, by default, if you have JavaScript, what I was saying, if you have JavaScript enabled, it's going to tell you that they recommend that you disable JavaScript. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just disable JavaScript on this page, because that is what it recommends it here, as you can see, for better security. So I recommend that you turn off JavaScript for this page. Okay, now let's move on to our final market, which is or actually, if I just move back into here, and let me just if I can just find it here, essentially, or yeah, we can just move on to the next market. I just wanted to confirm something on that over there. Let me just log out. All right, moving on to the dream market. All right, the dream market is probably not my favorite, but it's also a great market as well, and it was created in 2013, as you can see here. All right, so by default, I haven't created an account here, so I'm just going to hit sign up and we can do it together. Okay, so just give that a few seconds to load up the sign up page, and we can enter our details like so. And by default, it'll give you a suggested username that you can use. So I'm going to use that, and I'm just going to enter my password here. I'll go for 1234567 and my withdraw pin, which is essentially my pin that I use for withdrawing. So I'm just going to use this as 123456, and now it's going to ask me for my captcha. These captchas are getting really annoying now. UABA. All right, so that, I hope that is the correct captcha here, and I'm just going to register. Let me just copy the username in case I forget it, and it asks me to enter it. The pin number is unsafe. All right, so if it gives you that, don't worry. You just need to enter a new pin. Let me just enter my password here, and I'm just going to change my pin to something like 2244 5, and I'm going to enter the captcha here like so, and I'm going to hit register. And the captcha was correctly entered. So yeah, this is really annoying. You know what I'm going to do? I'm just going to sign up, and I'm going to get back to you when it's done. Alright, so I have registered, and as you can see, it's going to tell you, it's going to take you to the registration successful page, where it's going to tell you, welcome to the dream market. First time users should read this guideline. So I'd recommend that you go through the guideline. Now, if you want to become a vendor, or you want to start selling, you can also apply as a vendor right at the bottom here. Now, by default, just hit go to market, and it's opened up the market in the next page. And as you can see here, I have I'm going to be blurring this as well, because again, it contains featured items that I do not want to feature, obviously for legalities and illegalities. So again, it's sorted in terms of browsing. You can sort the goods are sorted in terms of category. You then have your exchange and your onion mirrors, depending on when, depending on if the site is slow, you can choose one of these other mirrors or if the site is not working on one of the mirrors, you can also change to the other one. Alright, so there's a lot of product here, and the filters are right up at the top here, and you can look at the ship to countries that you can ship to as well here, which is awesome as well. You then have your ship from countries, the escrow, you have your category, your cryptocurrency that you choose to use. In this case, you have Bitcoin, Bitcoin Cash, and Monero, which is also very, very good, and you can apply the filter. Now, I really don't like the dream market, most probably because of the security, and I would really not recommend this. But if you want to try out this market, go ahead. It's also a good market, and again, these are the top 3 markets that I would recommend. You can go ahead and try other markets, but again, as I've mentioned before, security is very, very important. And it's all about, protecting your identity and obviously the security of your purchases, depending on what you want to purchase. That being said, that's going to be it for this video. I would really recommend that you look at the Bitcoin and cryptocurrency section if you're interested in performing these transactions or actually buying services and products from the deep web or the darknet, whatever they may be. So that's going to be it for this video, and I'll be seeing you in the next video.